Welcome to the Niche Research and Brainstorming webinar. So I'm going to do this new recording to talk a little bit about how to come up with products that we can sell and a niche, getting to a niche. So first we'll discuss what is a niche, the important factors that we need to think about when selecting our niche, and then we're going to talk about a tool that will help you get there and doing a little brainstorming. Okay. So I've actually been writing a paper on this topic of why it's important to work with a niche, and I want to bring in a few of those notes and points as I'm talking today. And one of the examples I shared in that paper that I was writing is Jeff Bezos and Amazon. And most people don't realize how Amazon got started and all the story behind that, but I'm going to summarize it just briefly here so that you have an understanding of how Amazon got their start and the first few years in business. And the most important thing I want you to remember about Amazon is when they first started, when Jeff started that company, he had grand expectations to build that into a site that would do everything. But he also already had a lot of understanding about business. He was already very successful on Wall Street, and he was able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars of funding to get started with his site. He got that from his parents at first. Okay, so he was already well versed in business. He was already very successful in life. He understood what he was getting into, and he had funding to get started. And then he quit his job on Wall Street and just focused 100% on starting Amazon. And from what I've read, he probably put in 80 to 100 hours, if not more, every week. Okay, he was working extremely hard full time to do this. Now, even with all of that, he's still focused on only one product for the first 4 years of the life of Amazon. For the first 4 years that Amazon was a business, the only thing they sold was books. Okay? So even with those grandiose expectations of wanting to build this into what it is today, he didn't try to do that right from the start. He understood that he had to start somewhere. He had to gain footing and get in the door, so to speak, with Google and the search engines, and he had to establish himself first. And he decided to do that focused on books. Now, another interesting little tidbit that I have written in this document is he researched. He went out and he did some research on the top 20 products, the top 20 selling products at that time on the internet, to decide what he wanted to focus on. And then with that knowledge and understanding, so he did some brainstorming, had some, a list of product ideas, then he decided to jump into it. Now, keep in mind, he was very ambitious. He was looking to build a multi-million-dollar, if not a multi-billion-dollar business. He already had capital. He understood a lot more than most of you when you're getting started with something brand new. What we're talking about here is just getting started with, just putting our toe in the water and starting to learn the basics of business and online selling, right? And so our approach is going to be a little bit more scaled back. We're not going to jump into it like Jeff Bezos did because we don't have that background. We've got to start learning some basics first. So we're going to start this at a smaller scale. Your first website shouldn't be one where you're planning on growing it eventually into something huge. Your first website should be something where you're planning on a focused, targeted niche, and that may be all you'll ever do with that website, but it will allow you to learn, allow you to grow, allow you to get the skills you need to be able to grow bigger. And then someday down the road, after you've gained all that knowledge and experience, then you might decide to move into a bigger business model and maybe create an Amazon or something like that crazy, right? So we're going to start where we are. That's the big thing. So some of the things I talked about then after I gave that in my document here, I talked about this history of Jeff Bezos and how he got started, and then I outlined a few bullet points. And these are things we have to understand. We have to be realistic. And so the first thing we got to look at is, what do we have compared to what he had? All right, so we've already established we don't have the experience that he already had as a business owner, right? So that's one thing we have to build, and that's going to be part of our learning curve. The next thing we have to realize is we don't have the capital. We don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw into this and keep us afloat while we get started for the first several months or years, right? So we don't have the experience, we don't have the capital. And then the third big one is time. We may not have full time to put into this, and we can't work 80 hours a week on this business as we get started. We might only have 10 or 20 or if we're lucky, maybe 30 hours a week if we're really willing to sacrifice. Okay? And that brings me to the last point, is we need to decide what we are willing to sacrifice in order to get this going. And that's where we really have to do some real introspective thought processing here. We've got to decide, what are we really willing to do to achieve what we want to achieve? Are we willing to stop watching TV altogether and not spend any time on television? Are we willing to not go out playing, and are we willing to cut out all those extracurricular things in our life so that we can focus on building this? And not only are we willing to sacrifice all of that, but can we mentally handle it? Right? Because not everybody can mentally handle, the stress of trying to learn something new and just, get rid of all outside activities. We might need to keep some of those relaxation techniques and things, but we're going to have to balance it. We don't need to spend hours on TV every week, for example. If we want to go out to a movie to relax a little bit, great. Or maybe watch something on Netflix or whatever, but we've got to be able to scale it back and say, hey, we want to build a better life, so we've got to be willing to sacrifice some of this to make it happen, right? So we need some balance there. All right. So with that background understood, now let's get into and look at a tool here. So if you go to ementortools.com, ementortools.com, just like you see in the logo there at the top left, and come to the website tools, we can go to the niche idea generator. Okay, and that tool is one that Davin, one of our coaches, has created that will give you some good insight on how to get started, and it will actually help you develop some niche ideas. So this has some outline here that would be worth reading as you come in. It talks about 2 common mistakes that many internet business owners make in this beginning stage. Choosing products based only on high demand. Lots of people buy HD TVs, but there's also high competition with that. Or choosing products based only on personal preference, things that we love. Okay. While it is valuable to focus on something you have an interest in, that may not always be the best product for you, so don't limit yourself. Okay. And as he states here, both of these generally result in failure because of high competition. The things that we think of first, like paintball or rolling attaché cases or backpacks, are also what everybody else thinks about first. So we have to get outside the box a little bit, right? So I would recommend taking some time, and I wouldn't spend more than 10 minutes on this activity, but read through this, the notes on this page, and then complete this activity as I'm going to outline for you here today. Okay, but not more than 10 minutes. It really shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to do this. And so he's got some great information here that I'm not going to read through right now. Very, very good insights. He's got a link to one of his webinars here that talks about researching and niche development that'll give you some good insights and information. And then we get down to using the product niche generator, which is really what I want you to focus on. And this won't even show up until you've read through the page and you scroll down. Okay. So after you come to the bottom here, notice he says here, to use the tool below, follow these instructions. Wait a few seconds for the product ideas to generate. They will automatically start generating as you get down here. Once the ideas come up, write down any that seem interesting. Okay. Once you've written down any ideas you like, click the do it again. Okay. And then once you've written down 2 to 5 product ideas, stop. And then pick your favorite idea from that list of the 2 to 5 product ideas and send it to me. Okay. And the entire, this is where he says, the entire exercise of deciding on your niche should take less than 10 minutes. It shouldn't take more than that time, because with these tools, it should allow you to go fast. So here we've got a list of product ideas, and it looks like we can highlight them. I like to have things in a spreadsheet format, so I would probably copy that right there and go put it in a document somewhere. Go to my Google Docs, Google Drive, and just create a new Google Sheets. And we can just take those ideas that are in this niche generator, copy those, put them into a spreadsheet, and we can call it niche ideas. And product ideas. And we can paste those right down here. And it looks like it's going to copy over. I'm going to paste it special so it doesn't copy all the formatting. And there we've got a bunch of ideas. Okay. And then I can go up here and drag this little bar down so that I can keep my header in the right place. And I like to format it nice and neat. And then if I want to go do some research and see, what is my all-in title competition, then I can do that research right here. If I want to find out what's my demand, I can do that right here. And so I can put those numbers in here to help me decide what I want to focus on. And then I can just build the list on down. Okay. So then we can come back here, we click do it again, and it's running. I can see the little circle going in the tab up there, and it says waiting for eMentor tools. Okay, and then it reloads, and it's going to go on a timer, and it's on a 1-minute timer to do the research to come up with some of these product ideas. So we'll let that run and come with some more ideas. And so you could do this up to 10 times, maybe only 8 times within 10 minutes, maybe only 5 times, because we're going to be writing it down and copying the stuff, but it's going to run a minute each time. And so we'll run that each time and then come and look at our stuff and say, okay, here are some unique ideas that aren't just the general run-of-the-mill. We've got compact treadmills, we've got LED boards, and we could rank them. What do we like most? Treadmills, I don't know, it might be good, but I'm not too interested. I'll rank it a 5. LED boards, maybe a little more interest, so I'll rank it a 2. Stainless steel kitchen sinks, all right, I said 2 and I wrote a 3, didn't I? We'll put that as a 3. Primitive home decor, interesting. I like that idea, very unique. We'll put that as a 2, higher on the list. 3-wheel strollers, interesting. I'm not real interested in it myself, though. Unique purses, definitely wouldn't be interested in that myself. Arch trellis, that's interesting. Baby accessories, maybe. Model tanks, that's actually pretty cool. I like the sound of that. Queen size Murphy bed, that's pretty cool. I would love it if I could sell those, right? And so there we've got things ranked, with 1 being the most interesting, 10 being the least, and they're ranked there. Okay. All right, now we come back, we've got a new list, so we grab those, copy those, and then I'll go ahead and click do it again. So it'll start running that, and I'll put these down here. Again, I'm going to paste special, values only, so I don't have any of that formatting. And do the same thing, luxury outdoor furniture, middle of the ground, hydroponic grow tent, that's interesting. Modern outdoor furniture, put that in middle. Posture correctors, I like the sound of that. Wine glass charms, I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to put that down and check it out. Jogging strollers, I'm going to put a little higher. Not as interested in that. Modern rustic decor, maybe. Barbecue smokers. Camping cots, I think that's a cool idea. I'm going to put that as a 1. Custom jewelry. knowing what I know about how difficult it is to promote jewelry, I'm going to put this at a higher one because it's such a high competition niche. So while I've been doing that, it's loaded my next one, and so I can go back and grab my next one, right? And so I can just keep doing that for 10 minutes and end up with this big list of, whoops, paste special, right click, paste special, paste values only. And I can just keep doing that as um, as long as I want to. But again, I wouldn't do this more than about 10 minutes, like he says. And then out of these, we can rank them and come up with the ones that we want, that we're most interested in. So let's just quickly go down through this. Electric fishing reels, sure. Homegrown hydroponics, crystal wine glasses, wood plane, window mirror, interesting. Okay. Microwave deals, I don't know what that even means. Outdoor bar furniture, RC buggy, archery arrows. All right, so now I've got this list ranked, and I can come up here to rank, go to data, and sort A to Z, and that'll put my highest ranking ones at the top. So then I can look at it again and say, okay, so these are the ones I initially looked at and thought I'm most interested in these. And so then you could come up with this, and you can double check and say, yeah, I think that probably fits. That'll work. Let's go ahead and give these ideas, to my coach, and then you can send those to me, and say, these are my top ideas that I'm most interested in. So that way you're not left to just your own thoughts of trying to come up with product ideas. You've got a tool here that is going to give you lots and lots of product ideas, and you can put them into this spreadsheet, rank them, and then if we want to go in and do some additional research, find out what the demand is and what the competition is on those, we can do that. But ultimately, we might want to only do that kind of research on the top 5 or 10 that you feel interested in. Okay. So, let's see. And then once you've done that, then we've got we've got some ideas, and then we can start moving forward to narrow it down and decide on one. And ultimately, we can start a website by just grabbing products from Amazon, build the website on our niche idea, and then start ranking it. And that'll make it easier for us to actually communicate with wholesale suppliers. So we don't even have to have wholesale suppliers to start a website. Okay, we can work on that later on. So there's some good intro on brainstorming. I hope that helps to get you started with coming up with some niche ideas.